Inheritance tax. The Nil Rate Band. This is probably the most important exemption that most people have to help to reduce the amount of IHT that they have to pay. The amount of this allowance is £325,000 and has been frozen at this amount since 2009. In the budget they announced that this would continue to be frozen until 2030. This allowance is usually applied to the first part of your estate, so consequently it covers the first of any gifts that were made in the last 7 years prior to death. If you are a widow or a widower, then you would also have any unused proportion of your deceased spouse's nil rate band that they didn't use up on their death. Clearly the nil rate band has failed to keep up with inflation since 2009. With the increase in property prices, particularly in the south of the country, the allowance should be over 1.3 million by the time that it's eventually increased in 2030. And even then you must have little faith in any promise that Labour will have given that they will increase it. Even so, 2030 is 1 year after the present term of office of this government. Consequently, this government may not be in a position to honour that promise to index link it in 2030. Equally, we have no reason to believe that the Conservatives will do anything to change this, unless there is a major reaction in the political climate as a result of this unfairness. As the future of this and any other allowance is somewhat unpredictable, one school of thought is that it might be preferable to use it on the first death to make sure that at least you're going to get some benefit out of it before a date when it might be taken away. However, this is very much speculation, and none of us, not even the politicians themselves, have any clear idea of what will happen to the nil rate band in the future. Thus, this makes it extremely difficult to plan for the future. In my next video, I'll be considering the other big exemption with the spouse exemption. At this point, I again need to stress my disclaimer that nothing that you hear on my videos should be construed as advice. You should always seek your own professional advice before taking any action. And I, or DEB Chartered Accountants, accept no responsibility for any loss whatsoever that you may incur. However, as I said repeatedly, my main motivation for doing these videos is not to gain clients, but to try and give you some help and get you to realise where you stand with regards to IHT, so that you can seek whatever professional advice that you need. To keep on track with my videos aimed at helping you, please follow me